Welcome to episode 29 of Super States, Practices of Transformation, with me, your host, Joshua Peters. Super States explores the connection of trance states and personal or professional growth. So in every episode, we talk to world-class experts, industry leaders, revolutionary thinkers who share the latest information and tools along with their personal stories that are there to inspire you on your journey. This week, I have two special guests, Marian Spurgeon, who's been on our show before, and Peter Addy. Marian is a hypnotist and Peter is a psychotherapist. Both of them are psychedelic informed. The three of us are going to talk about an upcoming workshop series that we're collaborating on in January of 2024. The series is a collection of techniques and talks that explore expanded states of consciousness. So sit back, relax, and get ready to unlock the power of expansive states with Marian Spurgeon and Peter Addy. Welcome to Super States. I am here with two special guests today, Marian Spurgeon and Peter Addy. And the three of us are here today to talk about a workshop series that we'll be offering to all of you amazing people out there. That's going to happen in the beginning of 2024. We're talking about expansive states of consciousness. So thank you for being here, Marian and Peter.
Thank you, Joshua.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Now, I just to kind of get started, so we're talking about expansive states of consciousness. We're doing a series of workshops around this. Marian, why don't you share a little bit about what this is all about and why people would want to listen to this?
You inspired me, Joshua. I want to say, your podcast inspired me, and I was just like, I love how you're putting together all these different experts that are talking about different ways into these expansive states of consciousness. It might not be only through hypnosis, although that is a really cool way to go in, but it can also be through physical activity, it can be through play, it can be through meditation, it can be through breath work, and all sorts of different ways. And I like conferring with other people that use these modalities so that we can explore the ways that they're similar and different.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Marian. And you were one of the early guests on Super State, so it was great to have you on there. I agree. There are so many different ways to have access, or you could say different doors into these types of super states. Peter, can you share a little bit about you and what's your interest in these expanded states of consciousness?
Yeah, my day job, I'm a therapist in Oregon and Washington. I also do supervision and education. I used to do research. But a thread throughout all of that has been what we might call expanded states of consciousness. My degree is in transpersonal psychology, so looking at things like psychedelics, meditation, breathwork through a scientific lens, and often to see how they can be used to help people who are suffering, people with mental health conditions or functional impairments, but also for the betterment of well people, someone who just wants to get in touch with their creativity or their play, or just be more open with their family or friends, right? It doesn't have to be about healing what's broken. It can be about reinforcing what you like about yourself.
Yeah, I really like that. And a lot of times people miss that. I think there's two kinds of ways of making changes in your life. There's fixing a problem, but then there's getting better at what you might already be kind of good at.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're doing this workshop, a series of workshops. Each one of us is offering up a teaching, a lesson to give people a different taste of what kind of a bit of an expanded state of consciousness. Marian, why don't you share what you're planning to work through and
Well, I'm going to be kicking off the series, so I'm going to spend some time teaching about like why these expansive states of consciousness are so good for us. Because I think that at least I know that I have a hard time engaging in something unless I know why I'm doing it. So I'm gonna talk that up a bit. We're gonna talk about some of the different ways that people can go into expansive states of consciousness, and then I'm going to offer up a tool that people can use to play with some of the things that we learned, and give a little bit of taste of what I'm going to be offering in the little bonus workshop that we're including with the series.
And that's a good point to bring up. Is every one of these workshops will have a basically a outer kind of free training. So every one of these is free. They're for someone who's very interested and wants to learn more. There's an opportunity to get a bonus through purchasing for a relatively small amount. Is that how it works?
Yes.
Awesome. And Peter, what is your workshop going to intake?
Well, it's about creativity and problem solving. And there are a lot of ways to encourage or to facilitate problem solving. And one expansive state is through what we might call psychedelics or plant medicines. A lot of the clinical work that I do now is in psychedelic harm reduction and integration work. I train psilocybin facilitators at the Synaptic Training Institute, and I'm certainly not encouraging any of your viewers to commit any crimes or break any laws. So always be aware of where you live and what your state wants you to be doing or not. But if anyone wanted to, for example, come to Oregon, where we have legal psilocybin services, or a different country, or ketamine work, which is available everywhere, these kinds of chemical or plant facilitators can really do a lot to change our consciousness and our way of seeing ourselves and our problems and how we express ourselves. So my free talk is going to be a little bit about the background, some of the research that's been done on creativity and psychedelics, a little bit of neuroscience, not a whole lot. And then if that sounds interesting and you want to learn more and buy a ticket, then I'm going to offer some more practical tools and advice about how to prepare for and then integrate an experience where you've had some psychedelic states for creativity specifically.
Love it. There's a lot of interesting ways to use these types of states. So the workshop that I'm putting together, it's around creating your own super state, your own expanded state of consciousness, basically using 4 other states. You kind of mush them together. So the workshop itself, I have a colleague, Marian's there kind of with me, and I'm taking her through the process. And so you can get a sense of how it works, on what we're doing, why we're doing it. And then and that's the free workshop. If you, as Peter says, if you buy a ticket, then you get access to a recording that takes you through your own process, and you can listen to it as much as you want to really integrate your own super state to use in any area of your life.
I loved that exercise that you took me through. It left me feeling fantastic afterwards. And I can only imagine that anyone who attends your session is just going to walk away feeling like they're walking on cloud 9.
Yeah. I mean, we can bring our own expanded state of consciousness through just accessing memories as we did.
Totally.
Now, what is the kind of person that might be interested in watching these types or going through these workshops? Who are we looking to bring in?
Well, I think I envisioned this workshop series for people who help people. So that would be coaches, therapists, and people who have holistic practices. But I want to say that I think that anyone could benefit from learning hypnosis. Like, I think that, and and also just kind of learning more about psychedelics. I think the stuff that we're bringing here is broadly applicable, because what we're really doing is we're talking about like making it more fun and more beautiful and more comfortable and more functional to be inside your skin, and who doesn't want that?
I know that's really helpful for me.
um yeah, I think that it would be interesting to hear about like how we use some of these things in our own lives, what we like about them.
Hmm.
uh I'll just start by saying that I have been playing with Joshua's method. I actually used it in a session this morning. So, 10 out of 10, I can vouch that it's useful for use in session work. Um, yeah, yeah, and I've also been using it for myself too, and I found it quite helpful.
So you ran someone through the process?
I did
Oh,
run someone
great.
through the process.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't go into it with that intention. I was kind of waiting for her to tell me what she wanted to do with the session,
Hmm.
but said that she wanted to build confidence. And I was just like,
Yeah. Yeah. What better way?
confidence is always useful.
Well, and I'm really looking forward to both of your workshops. I know the free gift that you're giving out, or I'm sorry, the ticket that people will get from your workshop, Marian, is very interesting, related to the labyrinth, the idea of the labyrinth. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm riffing on the presentation that I gave at Hypnothoughts this year, which is the labyrinth as a portal into another dimension. And it's this powerful tool because it's really just like a walking meditation. It has a geographic beginning, middle, and end.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go through that maze, it kind of winds back and forth. And there's something that happens when you walk that where you kind of go through different layers of your mind. It was interesting, even at the conference, there was somebody that told me, "Oh, I walked a labyrinth once and I didn't really get the point of it." And so I asked her to describe her experience to me. And just the process of telling me what went through her mind when that happened gave her that aha moment. It's not that it wasn't there, it was that she didn't know how to see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's something that I think happens a lot in psychedelic experiences too.
Mhm.
Peter, what is it that has inspired you to move into this kind of specialization? I know you've done this for quite a while, but what inspires you?
Well, a lot of the people that I talk to in my therapy practice, of course, they're coming to me because of profound hurt, because of profound suffering that they may have carried with them for quite a long time. And psychedelics sometimes can lead to this profound aha moment. Sometimes it is like flipping a switch and suddenly things are different. More often, though, I think it's a slow, gradual process rather than a sudden, quantum shift. And that's really wonderful to just see someone doing the hard work, walking uphill every day and getting a little bit better and a little bit better and better, whatever that even means. We could have a whole conversation about about like better and health and productivity and all that. But as much as I love seeing that, there is this idea that that a lot of people come to me with that I used to be okay. I used to have a good baseline, and then a thing happened, and now I'm worse. Now I'm suffering. Now I have an illness or whatever, and I want to get back to that baseline. I want to get back to where I used to be, and that's nice. But that's really good. But there's also there's more. Uh, it's hard to put into words, but by learning more about yourself, you can learn about connection with other people. You can kind of transform not just your own life, but the lives of people around you and your neighborhood, or your kind of social group. And it's not just a personal individual mission always. And therapy tends to be a one-on-one kind of individual siloed discussion. And so the more I talk to people at conferences or just kind of casually about their experiences, the more I'm particularly excited about hearing how people kind of have these larger changes, that these ripple effects outside of just their own life.
I really like that idea. It makes me think of the Hermetic principle of as above, so below, as within, so without, right? As we heal ourselves, we're actually healing the whole world.
Yeah, there's a lot of Western esotericism and psychedelics, and as well as different kinds of Eastern thoughts. But there's, whether it's labyrinth, play, any of these things, it's kind of, I'm doing things for me, but it's also not just about me, right? There's a larger context in which I am a part, and that realization itself is often quite healing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Joshua, I'll interview you because so the sorry, what was that?
Looks like you had something to say there, Marian. What's
No, I was prompting you. I was like, what about your thing? What prompted you to get into your?
What prompted me to create that? Oh yeah, okay. Well, one of the things that I have been finding, Peter kind of talked about this. I work with a lot of clients that they come to me with a problem, and we do some work, and essentially the problem it's gone. And then they want, like I said earlier, they want to now continue to get better. And sometimes all they really need is a way to feel confident in a situation. The thing that I know is you typically feel confidence in certain contexts and not in others. And so the process that I teach in this workshop is designed to help you find what your own version of confidence is in lots of different kind of ways, stacking those all together so that you have a powerful state of consciousness, expanded state of consciousness, but a place where you can come from that is empowering. So in my life, I spend a lot of time feeling unempowered and not able to move forward. And I really like to empower people. And so that was the point of the process that I, put together. It's not really mine. It's something that there was bits and pieces of it that have come together into something a little bit unique.
You do it in a unique way. I'll say I know the techniques that you drew from, and I feel like it's a unique way that you put it together.
Yeah.
Made it your own.
Well, that's what we all do.
Yeah.
But I will say I'm excited to work with some other people, with you two, and with the other guests that we have that are also doing workshops as well. I'm excited to collaborate. This is something that I haven't done a whole lot of, and it's something I want to do more of. And so when you reached out to me, Marian, I was totally on board to take part in this with you. So I'm excited to be part of this and really to start to put more information out there that people can use to help themselves or help their clients or their loved ones in whatever way they can.
I deeply appreciate all of the work that you put into kind of like putting your podcast together and putting your workshop together and showing up and encouraging us all, even when I'm feeling a lack of confidence in my leadership skills sometimes. Thank you guys. Thank you, both of you. Thank you for being people to grow with. That's kind of the joy of collaborating too, is growing together.
Now, what can somebody expect in the full? Explain to us how this workshop series is going to work, Marian.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna run the workshop. We're gonna do each weekend a different workshop, and it's gonna run like 8 times. And if you show up at one of those times, you can catch it for free at the broadcast. And then if you want to keep the recordings, if you want to get all our bonus workshops, we're going to have them. You can say like, oh, I want that one. And we're going to have them for $33. And then if you want to get the whole package with all the bonuses, it's going to be $99. It is a really good value, though. We're jam packing it with stuff that you can use for yourself and with your clients. And I think it's going to be a really fun series to do. And of course, all of the front facing stuff, it is going to be like solid educational stuff. This is not like fluff.
Yeah.
Not we don't like fluff.
I know. I think you told me, Marian, boy, you're really putting a lot into that free thing there. So
I did say that. Like, we are putting a lot into the free thing. But also, like, I appreciate everyone who attends time too. So that's like, it's important to me. If I see a webinar that is just like a whole bunch of hype, I'm not gonna. I do think that there's a lot of value in kind of pre-framing what it is that you're going to do to kind of like build expectations and kind of prepare the listener for what they're about to experience. Kind of like you get your expectations up for a meal that's going to be nicely served. Then you want to actually get the meal, right? You know,
yeah. So we're serving up the first, the appetizer along with the meal, and then you can buy the dessert extra if you want it.
Yeah. I want everyone to be like, yes, like you attended the thing, you loved it, and then you want to like, and then you want more. So, yeah, and I like. I was gonna say, like, Peter, did you want to talk a little bit more about what your thing was about? Because
Yeah, I like talking. I like putting a lot of work even into free webinars as well, because it gives me an excuse to do reading and to research topics that I want to. Like, I've been wanting to figure out the creativity literature for a while now, but now I have an external motivator to kind of encourage me to do that. So great, I can catch up on some papers, and there's an excuse to do it, and it's business time instead of personal time now. So I've been learning a lot about just the research of creativity in general. Like, how do you even measure creativity in a lab? That's kind of a weird question by itself. How do you determine what kind of people are more or less creative, or what kind of procedures or activities or environments increase or decrease problem solving? That's an interesting literature right there. And then throw on top of that something like psychedelics, or also things like, I found some nice papers on dreams or hypnagogia, that any kind of altered state that just sort of loosens you up a little bit. It just kind of loosens your frame of reference, and you can pull ideas that normally you would dismiss out of hand. So you're a little bit more open. So in the bonus content, I'm providing some specific exercises. It's a little more hands-on. It's a little bit more of like a how-to guide to encourage these kinds of expanded thinking states, whether or not you want to use medicines with them. Regardless of what state you happen to live in and what the local laws are, you can still use all of these tools kind of before and after some problem solving. And if you wanted to engage in some particular, focused work, then it would go well with that too.
Great. So it sounds like what we have here is there's a workshop on expanded states of consciousness, how to access them, how to different ways to create these states. There's a workshop on creativity, how to access creativity in problem solving in all these different ways, whether or not you're using psychedelics, but you're going to talk about that some because that's kind of a specialty of yours. And then for what I'm talking about, we're creating a powerful state of consciousness that's unique to you, but is your own internal super state of confidence that you can use in any type of situation. And then we have some bonus things that are coming along as well, which we will share as we get closer to the time. So
we've got more stuff that we're throwing in for sure.
So we really want to give the listeners, the viewers of the workshop, more bang for their buck. We want this to, I mean, and plus it's free, so you're going to get a lot of value from that to start with. Marian, what would you like people to remember when they think about the Expanded States of Consciousness workshop series?
I want them to remember is just that there is so much more out there that is worth spending time in, worth seeking out, worth pursuing, even beyond healing or fixing problems. Like, all of that stuff is valuable, and also there is even more to do. And I'm really looking forward to kind of bringing these all things together in a way, just kind of sharing different ways to do that, and sharing why we do this, and also sharing a little bit about how to do that in multiple directions too. When I think of expanded states of conscious, visually I think upward, but I'm also going into working with the past and working with ancestors, and I also think of that as going downward too. So it's like a very grounded, rooted thing that we're doing while also going up and out.
That's a powerful frame to start with.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Peter? What do you want people to remember as they think about this workshop series?
I think I would love for people to appreciate the different kinds of expanded consciousness that we have access to all the time. I mean, you don't have to take a medicine, some sort of external agent, in order to access these things. So, labyrinth work, your pyramid, forgot what you called it.
Resilience pyramid, yeah.
The resilience pyramid work, things like that. You know, these are available to people in general, but then also I would love for people to keep in mind, or to remember when they think about this, that there's like Marian was saying, there's more than one way to go. You can have kind of an upward expansion, or a downward, or like a more inner kind of expansion, or a sideways expansion. You know, that there are different places that we can take these in order to just be more of ourselves.
I love that, and I'll just riff on that too, because I think we're all in alignment here. I mean, I am excited for people to remember that they can have control over their own lives, and they can transform their lives in all different types of ways. We never have to stay where we are. We have the ability to grow and to become more, and the more people can remember that, the better off they're going to be.
I was just thinking when you guys were talking about that just remembering that you can do this is huge. Mm-hmm. Like, that is half the battle right there, is just remembering that you can do it. And then once you remember that you can do it, then it's easy to do it.
That's absolutely right. Just to recap, this workshop is happening in January 2024. Over each weekend, there'll be a different workshop on each weekend, airing 8 times. That's free. Mm-hmm. You can access the free workshop just by tuning in when it's time. Every workshop also includes you can buy a ticket to get access to the free, or the gift, not the free gift, but the gift that comes along with it, that's usually there to kind of enhance what the workshop was about. And you can buy one of those. You can buy all 4 of them for even a better rate.
Yes, and there's also going to be giveaway goodies on our little list. We're going to have little when the reminders go out that the workshop is going to be happening, there's also going to be the opportunity to download different things from all of us too.
Absolutely. So we have all kinds of gifts that are going to be included, and looking forward to helping people find their own empowerment. Marian, if people want to connect with you, what's the best way for them to reach out?
MarianSpurgeon.com. Or if you find me on Facebook, I also have a link tree on my profile.
On Facebook or your website. And how about you, Peter?
I have two websites. I've got peterhaddy.com for my clinical work and Psychedelic Affirming Education for the education work, as the name implies. And I have some links on Instagram if you want to find me on there, although I rarely use it.
Okay. I will make sure to put links to all of your profiles in the show notes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Marian and Peter, for being here on the show, but also for collaborating and helping to put together this workshop series on expanded states of consciousness.
Thank you, Peter, for hosting us. It was so awesome to work together with you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
If you can hear my voice, that means you stayed for the entire episode, and for that, I am truly grateful. I'm excited to share an opportunity with you that's coming up in January of 2024. I'm collaborating with 4 other transformational coaches to create a series of workshops all about utilizing expanded states of consciousness for personal growth. The series is completely free with an upgrade offer for those that are interested in even more value. If you are a listener of this podcast, you're going to want to tune into the workshops in January. Go to ritualtechnology.org. That's ritualtechnology.org to register and to learn more. Remember to subscribe to the podcast through your favorite platform or subscribe on YouTube so that you can stay up to date with Super States. And finally, let me know what topics or guests that you'd like me to cover in future episodes. Just leave me a comment or find me on most of the social media platforms out there at Joshua Ray Peters. I'll talk to you all next week. And remember, you carry the seeds of change inside. Stay curious, keep growing, and embrace your transformation.